So it's weird. Sometimes creativity happens when you're sick. I'm not feeling very good. I have I'm dizzy. So I've been trying to sleep it off. But I had this strange dream. Then you ever bolt awake from a dream? You're like, whoa, because you think the dream is so real, but then you're like, oh, I'm just sleeping. So as soon as I woke up, I was hearing these words, and this is sometimes how a poem will start for me. It's weird. I used to like to always say the muse strikes at all hours of the night. It's not really night yet, but the lesson was, and still is that we are all utterly and beautifully flawed. If you ever thought of a flaw being like beautiful, or like maybe even a scar, like Rumi, the mystical poet, says, the wound is where the light enters you. Because whenever you hurt someone, or someone hurts you, then there's a choice that has to be made. And you can choose to suffer and keep that hidden inside of you and let it fester, or you can choose to open to the wound. And that's, I think, what the line of the words I was receiving was about. Somebody wanted to know what the lesson was or is at one time, but the lesson is we're human. We're not really better than one another, but we think we are at times. And yeah, I'm not saying there isn't a moral standard out there, but if you've ever broken any of those yourself, you'll know that we're all capable of being that other person, the person we despise. So when you realize that, you can open your eyes wider to a bigger truth, is that there's way more here to discover about life and art even. And it's easy to be critical of ourselves and another, but it's harder to take a look at what is in the way, because that's shit. It can be really scary. You might have to admit some hard truths to yourself or someone else, and it's never easy, but you'll feel better after you open up and let that poison out. You can't live with the poison. Well, you can, but it's gonna be harder. So when I think that saying about the wound is where the light enters you, is because when you open the wound and you face it, you'll rise above whatever happened. You just will. I don't really know. I'm not going to go into super heinous acts, because I'm not. I'm just talking from these more human mistakes that they hurt, but they're not detrimental. Do you see what I'm saying? There's various levels and layers to all of this. But this does go into thinking about the whole thing in the entirety, is what is forgiveness, and how do we find more compassion, not just for ourselves, but for each other. And the lesson is that it's a practice and a process, just like art. And in a way, we are that art, trying to come alive to ourselves every day, in every moment. And that's why we always say you can return at any moment, because it's just a choice. And I think that's the biggest thing life has shown me, despite everything. But like sometimes when you get the wisdom, you didn't know what you were going to have to endure in order to see the truths. So I guess be careful what you ask for, because you just might get it.